in order to profit, you have to stay at least 10 days to understand a little bit. And practice in the beginning, it is not easy. It takes a lot of effort. And especially here in this kind of monastery or in this kind of environment, you need a lot of self-discipline. So you need to do a walking meditation, sitting meditation, walking meditation. And at least in the beginning, maybe 45 minutes. Walking you can do 1 hour, and sitting 45 minutes, and towards the end for an hour. Sitting at least 1 hour, and walking 1 hour. And around 8 hours per day in the beginning. So, basic of Buddhism. The basis of Buddhism is the Four Noble Truths. The first Noble Truth is very important for us to understand. It is the truth about Dukkha. What is Dukkha? Dissatisfaction, dis-ease, discomfort, restlessness, all the things that we know. All the things that make us feel uncomfortable. Pain and suffering. Not only suffering, that is a mistranslation. Dukkha is a container for all these things, just like the other things. Just like greed and hate, they are containers. Starts with the smallest wish, to have something. That's already greed, It's a form of greed, Until the desire you can't let go. For people, who play for money, and things like that, gamblers, or other people, they can't let go of it. That is the strongest form of greed. But the slightest form of greed is, just a desire. I wish to be, should be different. And so is it with dukkha. Just the slightest form of discomfort. There's something, I don't know what it is. I can't really articulate it. That's already dukkha. It's a form of dukkha. And normally this form of dukkha makes us do something or makes us say something. When we sit, around a table and nobody talks, there's a form of dukkha, discomfort in us, and then we have to talk to get rid of this dukkha. And that's what we do all our life. Since we are born, we try to get rid of dukkha. But the only thing that we can do in our life is to avoid dukkha or flee from dukkha. Because we have to become Buddhists, we have to understand the Buddha's teaching to be able to get rid of dukkha. So all our life we are running away from dukkha, looking at the other side, looking at the nice things. And don't look at the dukkha, don't look at the pain, don't look at the discomfort. But the more we look at it, and the more we look at our life, the more we see there is lots of dukkha. There's so much dukkha. Just remember the time, when you went through puberty. There was so much dukkha. You're still young, so you might still remember it. But we are getting old. We tend to forget it. But that time is full of dukkha. But there are also other things full of dukkha. When you went to school, there was lots of dukkha. Learning to walk, there was a lot of dukkha, but we don't remember it. We got up, we fell over, we hit ourselves, dukkha. And dukkha can also be a motivation, which is one of the three universal characteristics. What is the other universal characteristic? Is anicca. Everything is impermanent. Whatever arises ceases. Whatever is born has to die. And we know that from nature. We are accustomed to it. In Europe, we have 4 seasons. Changing. From winter it changes to spring. From spring it changes to summer, and from summer it changes to autumn. It's always changing. It becomes hot, and it becomes cold, and it becomes rainy, and it becomes this, and it becomes that. When there is sun, it's the sun, then comes cloud, then it is cloudy, and then it comes the rain, and then gets sunny again, and so on. Constantly, everything around us is changing. There's nothing that is constant. And the third principle is anatta. Whatever is changing, whatever is dukkha, cannot be me. Whatever I can observe cannot be me. Because who is the one who observes? Subject and object. As long as there is subject and object, and the object, be it a feeling that we observe, be it a thought that comes in, that we know that comes in, or be it a memory that comes in, or be it visual images that come in, be it a feeling of touch, anything that we can observe cannot be us. And that is essential and can be very helpful in a lot of things, in a lot of ways. When we see that we get angry, then in the moment we say there is anger, then we can observe it and we can let go. When we see, when there is greed coming up and we see it and just say, not I'm greedy or I want this, just say there is desire. And then we can look at desire, and instantly when the fuel for the desire has been removed, the desire goes down. It will come back again, just like with the anger, it will come back again. But these things are not us. We see them arising just like we see clouds coming up. The clouds passing by, we cannot change the clouds. And the moment, this anger arises, we cannot change this anger. We can observe it, and we can observe, what is the reason for the anger to come up, what is the reason for the greed to come up. And most of the time, before greed and anger arises, there's a certain feeling of dukkha, of discomfort. Because if we are completely comfort, if we completely feel satisfied, there's no need to do anything. There's no hatred coming up, there's no greed coming up, there's nothing coming up. And we can experience that actually. When we go to the Fourth Noble Truth, that's where we learn how to experience, the feeling of complete satisfaction. But let us go to the Second Noble Truth. Why is there dukkha? The cause for dukkha. It is our desire, wanting this, wanting that, not wanting this and not wanting that. That is the cause for our dukkha. We have to understand. And please, please remind yourself, of all the dukkha that you had in your life. This can be a motivation, to find the way out. The Third Noble Truth is just a very happy statement. It says, there is an end of dukkha. And the Fourth Noble Truth is that what we are practicing here in the monastery, that is the path that leads to the end of dukkha. And there's only one path that leads to the end of dukkha, and that path is comprised of 3 columns, and it is called Sila, Samadhi, Panya. Sila is keeping the 5 precepts. Samadhi is the ability to concentrate and enter one of the meditative absorption. And Panya is the development of wisdom, and that's where we need to use anicca and anatta. And investigation of the things that we believe we are. What do we believe we are the 5 khandhas. What are the 5 khandhas? It starts with the body. Of course, every time, we look in the mirror, we believe it's me. Even though, we have changed over time. It's still me. I look nice, I don't look nice, I look tired, I don't look tired. Whenever we see the image of our body, then we think it is me. When we look down at our body, we think it is me. When we look at our hands, we think it is me. When we look at the hands of somebody else, we think it is him. But who sees the hand? Why is it suddenly, we see a hand, why is one hand me and why is one hand the other? We never questioned this. We never question. We think the eyes see, the eyes are personal, I see, so this must be me, or it's a definition. We defined ourselves, within the realms of the 5 khandhas. That's our definition. It's my thought. It's my memory, it's my feeling, And that's how we define ourselves. All our definition of our character is within the definition of these 5 khandhas. There's nothing, nothing that is personal, that is outside of the 5 khandhas. And that's what we have to investigate. That is the part of investigation. And we start with the most difficult investigation, with the body. Because within the body, it is the root of greed and hate. Everything that we desire for has a connection to the body, and the body comes with the senses, of course, with the senses. It's a desire for the senses of the body, or it's a desire for the body itself. The senses of eating, for instance, the sensing of smelling, the senses of touching, the senses, even the senses of thinking. That is our main task, our main occupation that we have all day long. Thinking. Without any definite results. We can think the whole day, and nothing really happens. We can even think, to open our hand, and nothing happens. We can think we are this person or that person, or we can think, if I would be rich, what would I do? If I grow up, or if I would be born in this country or that country, what would I do? We can think it all out. But does it change the present state? No. But sometimes it makes us happy, if we go into another realm or a universe, when we have a lot of dukkha, then we think about, a state where we don't have dukkha, and then it can make us happy for a moment or for a while. And that's why we listen to music or watch movies that transport us into another reality. And as long as we're in the another reality, we don't feel the dukkha. When this other reality stops, virtual reality stops, then the dukkha comes back. So, it's just avoiding. It's avoiding dukkha, running away from dukkha. All our life, running away from dukkha and running after sukha. Sukha is just the opposite of dukkha. Running after these pleasant feelings. And in our mind, we make plans, for how to get pleasant feelings. Isn't it? Think about it. Contemplate it and see. Actually, you will see it. You just need to do a few hours of meditation, and you will see your mind. How he creates all these virtual realities, how he creates these images, how he creates, this falsehood or this illusion, that we are somewhere else or that we are somebody else. We hardly live in the world of reality. The world of reality is feeling our senses. Just a sense input. There's an unpleasant sense. Okay, it came, and it will go. You just have to stay with it. But the first and important thing in the path that leads to the end of dukkha is keeping the 5 precepts. So when you're here in the monastery, you keep not only the 5 precepts, you keep the 8 precepts, and you keep even some of the ascetic practices. One of the ascetic practices is to eat only once a day. So when you're here in the monastery, you're supposed to keep the 8 precepts, and then you don't have to worry about anything else. And then you concentrate only on meditation. On the topic, how to concentrate the mind so that it gets calm. And there are 2 ways. There is the way of anapanasati, as taught by the Lord Buddha, being mindful of the breath at the tip of the nose, knowing that the breath is going in, knowing that the breath is going out. Knowing that the breath is long, knowing that the breath is short, knowing that the breath is subtle, or knowing that the breath is rough, whatever. But you keep your concentration around the tip of the nose. And that's where you keep your concentration whenever the mind goes out into thoughts. Don't worry about it, just pull it back. And then pull it back, and pull it back, and pull it back. And that is quite tedious work. So, and that is the way how to get calm. Once the mind gets calm, it is happy. How can it not be happy? The moment you think, you create problems. Or you create other things. If you don't think, there are no problems. There's not even you. There's not even I. There's just a pure experience. And there's nobody who tells us how the experience is. Wouldn't that be nice, for a while, Just to rest in a space, I call it a safe house, or it's called samadhi, Upachara samadhi, access samadhi. Just to rest there, no thoughts, no memories, just being there, just being. And being comfortable. And at that time, when we are just being, when there are no thoughts, no memories creeping up, we don't wish for anything. I mean, a desire comes up with a thought, I want this, I sit too long, they're so painful, That's a thought coming up, So we are not really in samadhi yet, because in samadhi there are no more thoughts coming up. So, whenever there's a thought coming up, whenever there's a memory coming up, don't worry about the contents of the thought, don't worry about the contents of the memory, or be the visual image, don't worry about the visual image, just return back to the breath. Or if it is too difficult for you for the breath, then use the word Buddha or Dhamma or Sangha. Mentally repeat the word Buddha, 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 Buddha. Don't do it too slow, In the beginning you can do it rather fast, and it's just thinking Buddha, 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 Buddha. People ask, why am I supposed to repeat it, loudly? No, of course not, But in order to portray the method, I mean, of course I have to tell it to you. So, now you just think Buddha, 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 Buddha. And when the mind goes out, return it to the Buddha. It is, especially if you think a lot, it is easier in the beginning, because we are much faster aware when the mind goes out. If it is not, the only decision is, am I with the Buddha or not? When I'm not with the Buddha, I return to the Buddha. Am I with the Dhamma? No. Then I return to the Dhamma or the Sangha. Or even if that is too difficult, we can use Buddha and the breath in combination. Bud with breathing in and Do with breathing out. But the concentration is still on the Buddha. Bud, Po, Bud, Po, Bud, Po. So we have two walks to leg on. Two legs to walk on. And then in the beginning, until we get more and more concentrated, and then we just use either the Buddha or the breath. Until we get into the stage of calm. And that is important. We have to realize that there is another reality. Otherwise, the Lord Buddha said, otherwise people wouldn't go this path, because it's difficult. It's tedious, and a lot of, it can be also, boredom can come up, sloth and torpor can come up, a lot of things, a lot of hindrances will come up. It is not easy. Meditation is not an easy way. Actually, according to my master, it is the most difficult task in the whole world. Working underground in a mine, for 8 hours or 10 hours a day, is easier than to meditate for 12 hours a day or 10 hours a day. Because after you come out of the mine, you wash yourself, you eat something, and you have some fun, and then you go to sleep. When you do meditation, there is no break, but for us as monks, every day is the same. We wake up, at 3 o'clock, start practicing, Then we go Pindapat, after Pindapat, we clean our bowl and clean the sala, and then we go practicing, until it is sweeping time, and then we go, after sweeping time, we take a shower, and then we go practicing until 11 o'clock or 12 o'clock in the night, and then we get up at 3 o'clock. And there is no Sunday, there is no Saturday, where there's only a half of day. Every day is the same. There's no holiday. Mi van hยุดนะ มีแต่ภาวนาอันเดียว There's only practice. 1 year is the same as the next year. 1 week is the same as the next week. 1 month is the same as the next month. And if you do it intensively, you lose track of time. You don't know if it is Monday or Tuesday or Thursday. You don't know what year it is. You don't know how long actually, how long you have been practicing. It happened to me after seven years of practice. I could remember the day, it was so clear, when I ordained. I thought, oh, that just was yesterday, yeah? But actually 7 years have passed by, yeah? And so on. Yeah? It becomes infatuating. The practice itself, once it is gets going, it becomes, and you lose time, and you lose completely track of time. It's fantastic, yeah? You know your work, the moment you wake up, you're with the Buddha, or you're with the breath, yeah? Or later on, you're with your investigation, you start, yeah, and until you get so tired that, in the evening that you lie down, and the next morning you wake up with the same thing. Yeah? There's no change. Huh? So you lose completely track of time. And that's where the results will come from, where we get results. As long as we think, oh, how long have I to do it? Why do I not progress in my meditation? Then we haven't really get going yet. But in the beginning, we have to fight. Yeah, we have to fight for every Buddha. We have to fight for every breath. And we have to fight, especially, we have to fight to get the mind back. We don't have to push it down. We just put it, we put our attention on the breath or on the Buddha. When the Buddha is not going by itself, then we initiate the Buddha, until it is revolving by itself. And then we just look at the Buddha. But the difficult thing is when there's a thought or memory, then we think, where is this memory coming from? Instead of, there's a thought, going back to the Buddha, or there's a thought, going back to the breath. There's a memory, going back to the Buddha, or going back to the breath. That is the key of practice. The explanation of how to practice is very simple. And yet, the doing itself, becomes very difficult because we are not used to it. It is too simple. We like complicated things. Yeah? We want to solve the world, in a philosophical way. Thinking about, making lots of, building a whole framework. Just like, like engineers trying to, put the whole world or the universe in a framework and then try to understand it. They will never do it. They will never be able to understand it. Everything, that the human beings thought of, has flaws, because there is no deep understanding of it. And then they come, maybe you have not noticed it, but then they come after 5 years, say, oh yeah, we didn't calculate that right, but now we know it is the new thing. That's how it works, yeah. Just remember about, yeah. What was it? Wasn't it a few years ago, global warming? Now they say, what is it now? Change, global change, yeah? The weather has always changed. There were ice ages, there was warm ages, yeah? And then it becomes colder again, so there will be another ice age, Things are changing all the time. Climate change. Yeah? Because they couldn't keep up with the global warming because it got actually colder, so they had to change it. Yeah? It's just like, doctors said, 30 years ago, what did they say? Don't eat eggs, don't eat cheese, because the cholesterol, will clog your arteries and you will die of heart attack. And then, a few years ago, they said, sorry, it didn't have any impact. We were wrong. But now we know it. And in 20 years they say, now what we know 20 years ago, it's wrong. Yeah? But now we know it. And each time we fall for the same tricks. Yeah? Each time we fall for science. Actually, maybe John remembers, actually in the 70s or 80s, there was a song, Blinded by Science. Yeah? You remember it? Oh, I loved this one. Even though I was a scientist, I liked it. Yeah, because we are really blinded by our own, by our own views and opinions. Okay, so that was the basic of instruction of the Four Noble Truths and how to practice meditation. When you do when you do sitting meditation, just sit comfortable and then don't worry about your sitting position. Just worry about the Buddha or worry about the breath. When you do walking meditation, you select a length of a path of about 30 meters or 20, between 20 and 30 meters, and then you have 2 turning points. Yeah? At each turning point you determine, for this path I will be with the Buddha or will be with the breath. When you turn around at the other point, then reflect upon, have I been with the Buddha or have I been with the breath? And the answer normally is no, okay. And then you turn around and say, okay, this one path I want to be with the Buddha or with the breath. That really gets you going, that really gets our concentration going. If you just walk up and down, you can be people walking, just like people walking in the streets. They have no mindfulness. They don't even know where they are. They just bump into anything. Especially nowadays when they walk with their phones, looking at their phones. They don't even notice anything what is going on around them. So when you walk, or some people walk in circles, they don't want to stop. But this stopping, at each turning point is actually very helpful for us, because we can really determine, okay, this one path I try to stay with the Buddha, or this one path I try to stay with the breath. And each time we turn around, we try it again. We put up the determination. And you will see it is much easier to keep a certain level of concentration when you do it, in comparison to when you just sit, sit for 45 minutes. After 5 minutes, your concentration is lost and the mind drifts off, and after 30 minutes, you realize, I haven't been there. Yeah? Okay? Understood? Yeah. So, do you have any questions? Yeah. Probably better practices when he sits on the toilet. Oh. No questions, huh? Tavia. Latvia. Tavia? Latvia. Isn't it?
Latvia, yes.
Yeah, Latvia. You have any questions?
Yeah, about walking meditation.
Yeah.
When I start to walk, I do the Buddha. But when I stop walking, then I stop the Buddha.
No, we don't stop the Buddha. Just change the position to sitting position and continue with the Buddha.
No, I meant when I finish the one path.
Oh, the one path. No, you don't stop with the Buddha. Just have this short thought, you will not be with the Buddha at the end of the path. That is, if you are with the Buddha at the end of the path, they don't stop, just, okay, I've been one path, with the Buddha, just go on with the Buddha, yeah. Of course, if you think something else, you cannot repeat Buddha, yeah. Buddha is a thought, yeah. Yeah. And don't walk too slow, because then you drift off very easily. The faster you walk, the easier is it to keep the concentration. You don't run, but you walk fast, yeah? Because it is very simple explanation. The chitta, yeah, or the mind or whatever, has to control the walking, yeah? And the other part of the mind, we calm down with the Buddha. It concentrates on the Buddha. So if you walk faster, the mind is more busy with controlling the walking, and you have less work of concentrating, yeah, the Buddha, yeah, the rest of the mind with the Buddha. Yeah? That's why it's so difficult when you start sitting meditation and there's nothing you can control. I mean, nothing, you just sit there and then Buddha, slips off very easily. Yeah. So that's why walking meditation in the beginning is really good. Yeah. Ella. Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
Ajahn, while doing anapanasati, the tip of the nose, the focus on the tip of the nose starts dropping backward. So there is a spatial incoherence. I cannot figure out where exactly the tip of the nose. So how exactly should I focus back on the
How is the breath at that time?
very subtle, but I know it.
Do you know it very clearly?
Yes.
And then forget about, then forget about the tip of the nose and then just concentrate there, yeah? I mean, if it already drops there, then just go there and see it there, yeah? Then don't worry about it, yeah? And see what is happening, we have to, through trial and error, we slowly get to the right method, yeah? Yeah?
I have a question about sitting meditation. When
Yeah.
I sit, I've been trying to do the Buddha, it seems to be the practice of choice.
Yeah?
And it's okay with the walking, but with the sitting, I don't seem to get the same concentration as I do with the breath.
Yeah, it doesn't matter if you use the breath or if you use the Buddha. So, I mean, while you do walking meditation, you can use the Buddha, and while you do sitting meditation, you can use the breath.
I thought I might be doing something wrong.
No, but if you cannot concentrate on the Buddha, when you do sitting meditation, it also can be a sign that your concentration is too weak. And only with the walking meditation, because the mind is busy with doing the walking and the rest of the mind is much easier to control, yeah? And while sitting meditation, you have to control the whole mind to stay with the Buddha. So that's why you might have the feeling, it is impossible, yeah?
When I'm sitting, when the pain comes up, I find I revert to the breath.
Yeah?
I've been trying to do the Buddha, but I revert to the breath. At least that's what happened today. And
Yeah, but then use the breath for the whole meditation. Yeah? Don't switch, don't try to switch between the Buddha and the breath, all the time. Yeah? When you do one meditation setting for 45 minutes, decide, okay, I stay with the Buddha or I stay with the breath. Yeah? And then stay with the breath. For sitting meditation, then decide, when you cannot concentrate on the breath anymore because the pain is too strong, then start to investigate the pain. Yeah? And you heard how I teach, how to investigate the pain, huh?
I'm not sure. that
You're
I
not sure?
remember.
I will explain it on Sunday, yeah? We just, instead of concentrating around the tip of the nose, we're concentrating on the point of the pain, yeah? And then look at the
That's
pain,
what I do.
yeah?
I watch.
And accept. The most important thing is accepting pain, because we want to get rid of pain. That's why we lock. No, we don't want to get rid of pain. We want to understand what is pain, because all our life we were running away from pain, and we want to stop it. Because when we die, then we will be in lots of pain, and we don't want to run away. We want to stay through the pain. Yeah? Just like a new child who is born, will stay through the pain, to get a new life. Yeah? Doesn't give up in the pain. And for death, the same thing. We keep with the pain and don't get distracted by the pain, because when we get distracted by the pain, our karma sends us, to places that we might not like. Yeah? Okay?
One more question.
Yeah.
When the pain comes on and the 1 hour is up, I normally see the pain through past the hour. Is it better to stop at the 1 hour or to wait till the pain subsides?
You can do both. Yeah. You can stop after 1 hour, yeah, and get up and ask yourself, where is the pain now?
It's gone.
So it's magic. Huh? So find out, who's playing this magic trick. Yeah? So the next time, you sit on and see, investigate it more deeply, where there's the pain. Because if you sit, I'm in the pain will not go away, it's getting more and more and more, yeah? Until you have to give up. It's fine, give up, but tell yourself, okay, next time I do it a little bit longer, yeah?
If I sit through it, it subsides eventually.
It's sometimes, not necessarily all the times. Sometimes it stops, sometimes it gets more. Yeah, it depends on your concentration, and it depends on a lot of things. Yeah? But what you have to find out in investigation of pain, but I'm not going to touch it today, is where is it coming from? We have to see it. Now, yeah,
No, when I meditate, when I sitting and I breathe.
ฟังไม่ชัด
I breathe in and out and
Yeah.
Putto, and my thinking is still, go away.
Yeah. ก็พยายามฮะ
Can I say Putto faster?
Yeah. Buddha, 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 Buddha. Yeah. Just like we walk faster. Yeah. The faster you walk, the easier it is. But don't run. Yeah. If you walk slow, the mind is completely gone. Yeah. After 2 or 3 steps. Yeah. If you walk fast enough, yeah, then it is easier to concentrate. Okay.